Hey guys, happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a fantastic start to the week. It's time for another weekly Q&A. So if you've never seen this before, this is where I go through a fitness, nutrition related question that I've received previously that I think is good, and I want to share it on this platform. That said, if you ever have any questions regarding any of those things, feel free to shoot me a message, email, call me, whatever, and I'm happy to answer them. So today's question comes from Ty, and Ty's asking, how do I fit a training session in when I'm short on time? So great question, Ty, because it's something we all deal with. So what happens if the clock is not your friend? All right, so let's talk through this. So there's really 5 things I would recommend when you're approaching this. And again, the key is to make this effective, not just run through something as almost a waste of time. So I think the first thing, number 1, is to have the right mindset. In other words, be okay with the time that you have and say, hey, I'm going to focus on what I can do versus what I want to do. So that's a big key to start with. So that way you're not frustrated. You've got realistic self-expectations of what you want to accomplish and why you're doing it. Okay, number 2, prioritize. Prioritize your goals. Like, what do you want to accomplish with the limited time you have? Is it you want to focus on specific body parts? Is it you want to get your heart rate up? Are there certain movements that you want to do? Whatever those is, again, we have a small window, so we want to prioritize what we want to make sure we come away with in that window. Okay, so number 3, how long do you have? This is something you have to realistically ask yourself, like, what can you budget into your schedule? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes, 15 minutes? What is it? So then that way you can set the clock and say, okay, for the next amount of time, I'm going to do this and be good with it. Now, there's 2 ways to approach this. First is, if you're a numbers person and you like to math, you can say, okay, I've got 10 minutes and I want to do 2 exercises, and so I'm going to need to figure out how many sets I can do. So you can say, all right, I want to take 30 seconds rest in between each set. Each movement I'm going to do for about 45 seconds, math it out, and you say, oh, okay, for 10 minutes I can do 5 sets of each of these exercises in my rest period. Okay, so there's one thing, you can crunch the numbers. Otherwise, you can just set the timer and say, you know what, for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, I'm going to go and just go and do it and be done with it. So figure out how much time you can allocate and hold yourself accountable to it. And number 4, pick movements that are easy to do with the equipment that you have. Again, we need to make this convenient. So maybe it's, using bands. Maybe you've got dumbbells at home. Maybe it's just body weight stuff. Whatever it is, again, just focus on movements that you can do. I like to do alternating and opposing body parts. And when I say that, what I mean is, like, do something that isn't going to affect the other things. So maybe you're picking like your chest and your back, or you're doing quads and shoulders, or maybe you're doing, air squats and push-ups, whatever it is. So then that way you can alternate those. Yes, you're probably still going to need some rest at some point, but by doing the offsetting body parts, it helps keep intensity up without going to fatigue. And remember, we want to get the most work done in the shortest amount of time. So we want to make sure that we have enough gas to certainly get through that workout. So again, that's why I like to alternate body parts and opposing muscle groups. So pick your movements, and again, make it easy, because we have a small amount of time. You shouldn't spend a bunch of time setting up your equipment, trying to figure things out. Do what you've got access to, make it done, get done with it. Okay, number 5. Set a timer and go, okay? In other words, use your phone, but then put it down and just listen for that ding, or look at the clock on the wall and say, hey, you know what, for the next, 10 minutes, I'm gonna go. Because what happens is your mind's going in all sorts of different directions. We all face this and we all deal with it, but you wanna say, okay, for the next 10 minutes or whatever it is, nothing else matters. I'm gonna do this and be done with it. You're going to feel a lot better, you're going to feel accomplished, and you're going to build momentum. And that is what's going to help get you progress, doing that each time, little by little. And hey, eventually, hopefully, you'll actually have more time where you can get the work in that you want to do, but these short training sessions are going to help keep you making progress, or at a minimum, keep you from stepping back and having to start fresh and start over again. So Ty, great question. I hope this is something that helps you guys. Thanks for watching. Again, time's something we're always dealing with. So check these 5 things out. I'll put them down in the description below to summarize. And again, if you have any questions on anything related, feel free to shoot me a message. Until next week, keep making every day count.